Hello and welcome to our video lesson about solids or 3D geometric figures. At the end of this video lesson, the learners will be able to define and identify the different types of solids. Let us identify first which of the following does not belong to the group. Here we can see different geometric figures in which some are polygons, one is a circle, and we have a box here. Most of them are polygons in shape, but we know that a circle is not a polygon. For this one to belong to the group, we can say that the following are two-dimensional figures, while this figure is not a 2D figure. So therefore, we can say that this figure does not belong to the group because this one is an example of a 3D figure, while the rest are two-dimensional figures. So what do we mean by 3D or three-dimensional figures? Solids or 3D figures or 3D objects. The word D pertains to its dimension, such as length, the width, and the height. When we say solid, it speaks about the space of an object. Solids have different parts, such as faces, edges, and vertices. When we say faces, these are flats or curved surfaces. Pwede itong flat face or a plane figure, pwede rin namang curved surfaces, or in short, these are the shapes na bumubuo sa pinaka-solid. In this 3D, we have the different faces. Just like the top face, we have plane EFGH, the bottom face, plane ABCD, the front face, plane ABFE, while the back face, plane CDHG. We also have the left and right part of this figure, plane ADHE and plane BCGF. So itong 3D na ito ay may 6 faces, the top and bottom, front and back, and the left and right faces. Next, we have the edges. This is the location where two faces meet. Since yung mga faces ay represented by planes, and we know that when two planes intersect at each other, they will form a line or a line segment. So edges are represented by a segment. For example, we have the top face and the front face. They meet at the edge, which is segment EF, while the bottom face and the front face meet at segment AB. So other examples are segment EH, segment GF, segment AD, segment BC, and so on and so forth. So these are what we call the edges. And the last part is what we call the vertices. So vertices are corners where edges meet. Kung kanina yung dalawang face ay nag-meet at nag-form sila ng edge, dito naman pag nag-meet ang dalawang edges, they will meet at a certain point called the vertices. And we know that vertices are represented by points. So we have here point E, point F, point A, and so on, so forth. Okay, so these are the basic parts of solids or 3D figures. Solids are basically classified into two main types, polyhedrons and non-polyhedrons. When we say polyhedrons, these are solids that have flat surfaces or polygons as its faces, just like the cube, prisms, and pyramids. As we can see here, lahat ng mga faces nila ay polygon in shape. Here, we can see that all of the faces are squares. Dito naman, most of them are rectangles. In the third one, pentagons and quadrilateral. While in pyramids, we have a square and triangles. For as long as ang mga faces nito ay polygons or even flat surfaces, they are classified as polyhedrons. While when we say non-polyhedrons, these are solids that have curves or non-flat surface or non-polygonal faces, just like sphere, cylinder, and cone. Dito, pansin naman natin na hindi flat yung face ng sphere, as well as sa cylinder, meron tayong circle, and we know that circle is not polygon, and we have non-flat surfaces here. They are classified as non-polyhedrons. Now let us identify the different polyhedrons. First, we have a cube. It is a solid with 6 congruent square faces. So dito, lahat ng faces niya ay square in shape. We have 6 faces, 2 pairs for top and bottom, left and right, and front and back side of this. For the edges, we have 12. These are line segments, 4 for the top part, 4 for the bottom part, plus another 4 for the left and right part. While for the vertices, these are corners. We have 4 on the top part and another 4 on the bottom part, which make up 8 vertices. And we have what we call the bases. Ito ang mga tinatawag nating base. They are both squares. Dahil nga, lahat naman ng face dito ay square in shape. That's what we mean by a cube. Next, we have prisms. These are solid figures with 2 congruent parallel polygonal bases and with other faces that are parallelograms. Para daw matawag nating prism ang isang solid, kailangan ang base nito ay polygon in shape. Just like here, we have rectangle, while on the other prism, we have triangular bases. So for as long as congruent and parallel and polygons yung mga bases, they are considered prisms. While other faces must be parallelograms. So bukod sa dalawang faces na tinatawag nating bases, we also have what we call the lateral faces. So these are other faces na hindi base. Itong mga lateral faces must be parallelograms. Katulad dito, squares and rectangles, and even here, we have rectangle that are considered parallelograms. Okay? So let's focus on the first prism. We can see that it has 6 faces, 12 edges, and 8 vertices, just like a cube a while ago, but this is not considered as a cube since we have the bases here na rectangular in shape. Okay? For the second prism, it has 5 faces, 2 for the bases and 3 for the lateral faces. For the edges, we have 3 on the top, 3 on the bottom, so that's 6, 7, 8, 9. So a total of 9 edges. For the vertices, we have 3 on the top plus 3 on the bottom, a total of 6 vertices. And for the bases, we still have 2, which are triangles in shape. Okay? Then we have a right prism. It is a prism whose lateral faces are perpendicular to its bases. So, makakategorize natin na right prism ang isang prism kung itong mga lateral faces niya ay perpendicular sa kanyang mga base. Sa first prism, masasabi nating right prism ito dahil ang kanyang mga lateral faces ay perpendicular sa kanyang base or makakapag-form ng 90 degree yung lateral face with the base. While for the next prism, medyo slanted ito at kapag ang lateral face nito ay hindi makakapag-form ng 90 degree with the base, hindi siya matatawag na right prism. Okay? And a prism is named based on its bases. Itong first prism na to ay may rectangular base. This is specifically called rectangular prism. while this prism is specifically classified as triangular prism. Even if you flip this prism, magsisilbi pa ring triangle ang base niya dahil yun yung dalawang faces na parallel and congruent to each other. Hindi natin makaklassify na itong rectangle part na to is yung base dahil wala siyang kaparallel sa ibang lateral faces. Okay? We also have more examples here for prisms. So if a prism has a base with 5 edges, that means the base is pentagon and therefore this is named as pentagonal prism. While for this prism, we have 6 edges for the base, and we know that a polygon with 6 sides is hexagon. Therefore, we name it as hexagonal prism. So that is how we name a prism. Now let's proceed to pyramids. These are solid figures with one polygonal base and with the other triangular faces whose edges meet at a single point. We can see that we only have one base, which are polygons, and yung ibang faces niya, which are lateral faces, are triangles in shape, and the edges meet at a single point at the top. So for the first pyramid, we have 4 faces here. For the edges, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. For the vertices, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. And for the base, this is triangle in shape. For the second one, we have 5 faces. Then we have 8 edges, 4 for the base and 4 for the lateral edges. For the vertices, 1, 2, 3, 4 on the base and 1 on the top part. And the base this time is square in shape. For the last one, we also have 5 faces here, 8 edges as well, 5 vertices, and 1 base. The base is rectangular shape. Here, a regular pyramid is a pyramid with a regular polygon base whose peak is directly above the center of its base. Just like this, na kung saan yung pinaka-peak niya din ay directly sa pinaka-center ng ating base. And then, the lateral faces of a regular pyramid are all congruent. So, kapag regular yung pinaka-base niya dahil all sides are equal, magkakataon din na lahat ng lateral faces ay congruent triangles din. Okay? And then, it is named based on its base. So, for the first one, since we have a triangle base here, we call it triangular pyramid. For the second one, we have a square base, a square pyramid. While for the last one, we call it rectangular pyramid. So, madali lang naman pangalanan kasi titingin lang tayo sa shape ng kanyang base. We also have more examples here. For this pyramid, we have 5 vertices. We name it as pentagonal pyramid. While for the next one, from A, B, C, D up to H, 8 vertices. Therefore, this pyramid is called octagonal pyramid. Now, kadalasan na pagpapalit ng iba ng pagka-classify whether a figure is a prism or a pyramid. Dahil pareho natin silang pinapangalanan based on their base. Just like here, we have triangular prism, triangular pyramid, rectangular prism, rectangular pyramid, pentagonal prism, and pentagonal pyramid. Pero ano nga ba talaga ang pinagkakaiba nito? The first one is the number of bases. We can see that we always have 2 bases here that are polygons, parallel, and congruent to each other. While for the pyramids, we only have 1 polygonal base. Next is by looking on their lateral faces. Dito sa ating mga prisms, lahat ng mga lateral faces nito ay parallelograms, while for the pyramids, lahat naman ay triangles in shape. So, I hope hindi malito sa pag-name dito. Now, let's proceed to non-polyhedron. First, we have a cylinder. It is a solid figure with two congruent parallel bases that have rounded sides, and these bases are connected by a rounded surface. So instead of using faces, put here surfaces. Here, we have two for the bases that are circles, or yung tinatawag nga nating rounded sides, and this curved face. So a total of 3 surfaces. And here we can see that the bases are circles. We have circle C and circle A. If we will compare it to prism, sa prism, ang mga base niya ay polygons, while for cylinder, ang base niya ay circles. Okay, kaya naman, ito ay specifically called a cylinder. Next, we have a cone. It is a solid figure with a rounded base and a rounded lateral surface that connects the base to a single point. So dito, yung dalawang surfaces natin, one for the base and another one for this curved surface. Sa cone naman, isa lang yung base natin, which is circle B. At yung isang face ay not truly triangle, but it is just a curved surface. Kapag ganito ang figure, we call it a cone. The last non-polyhedron is what we call the sphere. It is the set of all points in 3D space equidistant from a given point, the sphere's center. The radius of a sphere goes from its center to its surface. So madali itong ma-imagine. Just like a ball. So here, we only have one surface and there is no base. So that's just the main concept of a sphere. Alright, I hope clear tayo sa difference ng polyhedrons and non-polyhedrons. Kapag sinabing polyhedrons, ang mga faces nito ay flat surfaces or polygons. We have cube, prisms, and pyramids. While for non-polyhedrons, ito naman yung mga solid kung saan meron itong mga curves or non-flat surface, just like sphere, cylinder, and cone. Now let's have a practice. Identify the type of solids of the following concrete examples. So you can answer it first on your own and then play the video afterwards to check your answer. So here are the answers. So I hope clear po sa atin ang different types of solids. Sa ating next video lesson, panoorin naman on how to find the surface area of solids. Thank you for listening. God bless!